Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to it's a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got a good show lined up today. We're going to kick it off here in just a minute with our good friend Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. And then we're going to talk Gator recruiting, which everybody loves to talk about out there. We're going to bring in Blake Alderman from Swamp 24/7. He covers the Gators and give us an update on what happened over the weekend. But first, let's go to the living legend himself, Mr. Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Is Coach Spurrier in here somewhere? Oh, I'm sorry. No. By the way, I am not Coach Spurrier, in case you're wondering. Okay.
That's right.
Good to see you, Shane.
Yeah, what's happening? Anything exciting? Do you have a good Father's Day weekend, buddy?
Well, I did. I enjoyed my family being here. And my daughter, Rebecca, is here from up in Pennsylvania. And, man, I don't want her to go home. I want her to stay here. She gets to go back, though. She's a mom. But, no, how about you? Did you have a good Father's Day weekend?
Yeah, I'll be honest, buddy. I was a lazy bum pretty much.
So what's new?
So as you know, I love watching major championship golf. And honestly, on Sunday, I watched the College World Series. And I watched pretty much as soon as the dang NBC Sports started covering it, I watched it till the end because I absolutely love it. So anyway, that was it. And let's talk a little golf because you and I like to talk golf.
Yeah, we do. Nobody else wants to hear it, but we like talking about it.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to suck it up.
Really.
Jon Rahm is your winner, which, he's a damn good player. And it was awesome to see him win. Obviously what happened, I guess it was 2 weeks ago at Jack's tournament when he had a 6-shot lead going into the final round, the COVID protocol, all that. But kudos to him, man. He played exceptional golf. And I was telling JC yesterday, buddy, I'm making a prediction that Jon Rahm, he won his first major at Torrey Pines when he hit the tour.
Got engaged there.
He got engaged there. He wins his first major there. I'm predicting his next kid will be called Torrey Rahm.
I like that. That's very good. I don't know why they don't buy a mansion over there in that place. Yeah. My gosh. In golf is such a good story, but it's a story about redemption. All the great ones, like that. What a great story. We all just felt so bad for Jon Rahm. You and I both picked him in our top 3 or 4, whatever it was, because of that. But he was playing such great golf when it happened. And I was never a real big Rahm fan. He's kind of a hothead in some regards, But he showed me so much character when the way he handled that pain. He doubled over Shane in pain when they came and got him on the 18th green. And we were talking about that last week. Well, couldn't they have waited a little bit, And then to come back and win it like that. And the one thing he said, and I loved, was they talked about Seve. You got to realize that Seve Ballesteros is to Spain what Steve Spurrier is to College Florida football. I mean, He is a god there, And he said, Seve could never get this done, so this one's for Seve. And I know a lot of people who love Seve Ballesteros' game. He was a fantastic golfer, as you know. So, I watched it all just like you did. Maybe took a 30-minute break. But my wife watches golf as much as I do. That's the only sport she watches. So we had a similar Father's Day in that regard.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There's no question. So congratulations to him. The tour moves to the Travelers, and I guess the next major, the British Open, right?
Yes, it's kind of out of order. You got to remember we started out of order, right?
Yeah, so we got one major left. Yeah, the British Open.
That's it. Yeah. And Phil didn't get that open, but you know what I loved about him, Shane? He was out there hacking it with everything he had on Sunday morning, 8 over, trying his best to get a good score. And I love Mickelson for that. And I also loved Mickelson for coming back to the driving range at the end and hugging Jon Rahm and congratulating him. That was a classy move by Mickelson.
Well, they're Arizona State Sun Devils. I think
know
they're
they
the
are.
only two Arizona State boys that have won majors.
Mhm.
And so anyway, we got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Dan says, I like watching when the course is hard for the players. Dan, I'm right there with you. That's why I love major championship golf. This week they'll probably go out and shoot 19 under par. Does not do anything for me. I like to see them struggle and have to just grind on every hole. And Torrey Pines definitely did that.
By the way, speaking of grinding, my story interrupting you. My man Louis Hazen, my new neighbor.
Your new neighbor.
Who's a member of out at Golden, Ocala. My friends out there. My son works out there for the people. And he's got him. They keep calling it a ranch. I think it might be a horse farm, but you can call it whatever you want to. They say he's the king of all tractors. He likes to have 3 to 4 tractors, and that's why he loves being on a tractor out. Where you like being on the golf course. He likes being on a tractor. I'm looking forward to seeing Louis. I really like his game. Too bad he had to hook that ball out of bounds like that at the end, and that was 17th hole because he was right. He's always up there, Shane. He's always in there. I almost always pick him.
Yeah, he's got. I think he's got the second most runner-up finishes in majors behind Phil Mickelson. And
6, right?
It's a shame that we didn't get to see him try to force a playoff. As we said, 17. A guy who plays the ball left or right, a fader.
Yeah.
And Rahm's a fader too. And if you remember, Rahm on 17 said, "To heck with it, I'm bailing way right." He hit it way right of the bunker to be safe. Well, Louis didn't do that, and he pulled it into the canyon, and it cost him the tournament. But yeah, he's a tremendous golfer, little bitty guy, man. He can't weigh more than 150 pounds. But yeah, he's now living in Ocala. Got him a big horse farm there, 150 acres. Plays at Golden Ocala. So maybe I'll go down there and see if he wants to have a little match.
Come on down, let's get Louis and get the head ball coach. We'll go. I'll be the beer cart.
Refresh your vehicle and your brand with the vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. June is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane to receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Buddy Martin here on the Titan MRO hotline, we'll be joined by Blake Alderman. Second portion of the program, talk Gator recruiting, which people
find out what's going on, man. All of a sudden, there's a jump up there. There's stuff going on. I mean, I'm telling you, Shane, they're heating up. I don't know much about recruiting, but I can see trends. I talked last night with Graham Hall about this, and they're getting names of people and players that are, another caliber, notch above. This keeps up. This is going to be, as someone, I think Zach already called it, the 2 biggest weekend of recruiting of Dan Mullen's career, if this thing comes to fruition. But I know what you're going to say. Let's wait to see. But something's going on.
Well, you got to wait and see because these are just all verbal commitments. But, I think, Buddy, a lot of it has to do with the kids on campus. They're enjoying the campus life. They're enjoying this coaching staff, the family atmosphere. But they're also seeing that building being constructed right now. It ain't a damn picture of a building. It's an actual facility going up. And I think that makes a huge, huge difference. Buddy, I know you're a baseball fan, more Major League, but have you watched any of the College World Series? Buddy?
I watched a little bit last night. I haven't gotten it. The Gators got knocked out. I mean, what a game last night. That home run by the guy, Terrell, what's his last name, from NC State. Where did NC State come from? They lost. I mean, they lost like 7 of the first 8 or something, and he come out. They're a really good ball club. Shane, they obviously have great pitching. They shut Vandy out. The home run won for them. They have power. They have terrific defense. They are a really well coached baseball team, Shane.
Yeah, they're hot at the right time. And if you missed it last night, Vanderbilt in a winner's bracket game against NC State loses 1-0. NC State pitchers combine on a 2-hitter. Vanderbilt's Jack Leiter throws a complete game, a 4-hitter with 15 strikeouts, 1 home run, and loses the game. So it was a tremendous college baseball game. Mississippi State plays tonight. I can't remember who they're playing. They're in the winner's bracket. I predicted Mississippi State versus Vanderbilt for the national title. Vandy's going to have to come out of the loser's bracket now. But they have the team. They can do it.
Terrell hit that home run. That was a major league home run, too. I mean, that thing was way up in this thing. At the bottom of the 5th. That's all they needed. Like you say, broke Leiter's no-hitter up, and I'm impressed with the Wolfpack, I got to say.
Yep. Buddy, you've been covering sports a long, long time, and I know you lived out in Denver, and I'm sure you covered the Nuggets or what have you. But the NBA playoffs now, you got your conference finals going on. Game 2 tonight. The Suns lead the Clippers 1-0, and then I guess tomorrow night the Eastern Conference Final starts with the Hawks and the Bucks. Okay, so none of these teams have won a championship forever. I guess the Bucks may have won back in the 70s.
Yeah, they did. Kareem, I guess, probably.
Yeah, with Lou Alcindor.
I think so.
But do you think it's good for the public, for the league, the NBA, that none of the big boys are in this tournament?
No, the NBA is about stars. That's what it's about. Marquee. That's what sells.
Well, you got some stars in this.
I know, but you don't have LeBron. You don't have the big guys. And Kyrie's hurt now and out and whatever. How many guys are out? Like 6 or 8. They're out of the tournament. No, I'm just saying that there's so many big names that aren't there. Name me a player you think someone would know and follow.
Giannis, who's been the MVP.
The average person doesn't know who Giannis is.
They know Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
Maybe Chris Paul because of the commercials, not Booker. They don't. Not the average. I'm talking about the average fan now. I might mean.
Well, they know Kawhi Leonard, who's hurt, but they know Paul George, right?
Well, but Kawhi is hurt, and Paul George is kind of one of those marginal players that he's a star among them, but not that big a star to the average fan. I mean, you take some of your top guy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of touch. It seems to me I'm having a real hard time watching any NBA ball. I
haven't really watched it either, but I think it's good. I think it's fun that somebody else is going to hoist a banner.
Yeah, give a chance.
And the Lakers or somebody like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about the Nuggets the other night because Dan Issel, I wrote a book about. He was a Hall of Famer, Kentucky guy and a great player. And back in the day, he and Alex English and Kiki Vandeweghe, they would be 1, 2, 3 in scoring. And they had no defense, but they had those 3 guys that was great scorers. And it was so much fun to watch him. And Doug Moe was just such an interesting character. Issel later became the coach, which I never thought I'd see, the Nuggets. And in his first game, guess what he wore? I'm bringing this up because of Urban. If you're going to go out and be a coach and wear something to honor somebody, you'd probably wear a visor or something, obviously because of Coach Spurrier. But this will play for Adolph Rupp, the man in the brown suit. And for Doug, who was one of the worst dressers in the history of professional sports. So just to round it off, he wore a pair of black shoes with a brown suit, Issel, in his first game to commemorate Doug. I don't know why I thought of that. Doug and of course, Adolph, the great Adolph Rupp. I wonder what Urban will wear in his first game. He's got coming up here soon.
What do you think? He'll bring out like what was it? Is it Earl Bruce?
Earl Bruce is one of his mentors. But Woody Hayes was one.
Yeah.
But I mean, Earl.
As long as Urban doesn't come off the sideline and deck a player running down the sideline, right?
Yeah, there you go. I was at that game. I saw it happen. Yeah. Charlie Bauman's the guy who punched from Clemson. And that's what it was, the end of the great Woody Hayes. Yeah. Who by all accounts was supposed to be a great guy, diabetes, whatever. But man, he was something else.
We got a couple of Facebook Lives brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Brandon says, I don't watch the NBA, but the playoffs are actually pretty good. They have been good. A lot of game 7s. Joseph says, Giannis is a name everyone knows about no matter what kind of fan you are. Same for Paul George, Chris Paul, and Kawhi Leonard.
He plays music, right? Giannis and the music. Oh, that's Yanni. I'm sorry. Different guy.
Yeah, different guy. But, buddy, speaking of Urban, I don't know if you saw this, but I thought it was interesting. I saw it on Twitter last night. George Kittle and, I forgot the other tight end, Greg Olsen, who's retired. George Kittle's the really good tight end for the 49ers. They've started this. It's called Tight End University. It's a camp they're having up in Nashville for the tight ends in the National Football League. All the starters and I believe the backups on rosters. Kittle and Greg Olsen pay for everybody's flight, pay for everybody's hotel for like 3 days because they want to, with their experience, they're going to coach up, give a little nuances of how to play the tight end position at a high level. However, Tim was not invited. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, so it was on Twitter last night. Actually, Cassidy Hill, who works for you, did a little article on it, or basically she retweeted it. That's where I saw it. But basically, they just said Tim has not like earned the right because they don't really.
Yeah, that's a little snooty, isn't it? A little snooty.
Yeah, well, Well, first of all, they're only taking the starting tight ends and the backup tight ends. They're not taking like the fourth and fifth string tight ends.
How do they know what he's going to be? Maybe he'll be the backup.
Well, right now he's listed as the fourth or fifth guy is what it says in this article. I don't know.
And he's the H-back. Look, I've talked to some people last night about this in Jacksonville, and it's been not even an issue. Tebow's thing is not even an issue at all. Not even talked about on the team or whatever. And it's like we said, Shane, a lot of times these national guys who think they have a perspective up here, way have everybody else, they'll take a storyline and hammer it because they think it's what's going on. And they're not really in touch with the reality. I know it's obvious that Tebow is a story, and we know that it's going to be touch and go if he makes the team. Already he's been a very good influence for that team. I just did my first podcast, which is going to drop in July with Urban. We talked a little bit about that, not much. And everybody, by the way, I asked him this question: what in the world made you go to Jacksonville? And he said two things. He loves the city. And he said Shad Khan was unbelievable. It was the most humble.
And he got Trevor Lawrence.
Well,
he knew he was getting that guy.
Well, but I mean, I'm saying to go to Jackson. But no, Trevor Lawrence definitely was it. But he said personal decision was those are two of the big things. That's what he says on the podcast.
Well, I think I don't know Shad Khan at all, and just from what I heard, he's a guy that owns the team, but he doesn't like mess around with the team.
No,
and he wants them to have top-notch stuff.
Right.
And so he's going to spend the money because apparently I believe the Jaguars are building a new football facility.
Not just that, they're building a whole downtown on them. Have you seen those plans?
Yeah, and they're going to redo the stadium, which, all that stuff you have to do nowadays. So,
right.
It's great for Jacksonville. We'll see. It's going to be interesting still when training camp comes around and Tim has to put the pads on.
Sure.
How that translates. I mean, a lot of guys look good running around in shorts.
Well,
he's
a little bit more than that, but we'll see. But yeah, I hear you. I know that's a skeptical point. And look, he may not make it, but if he doesn't make it, it's still been a really good thing they did there. I think.
Yeah.
Make Jacksonville feel good.
I wonder if he has still will have the opportunity, which ESPN would be dumb, or SEC Network, whoever he works for.
SEC.
If he doesn't make it, can he go back to the SEC? What is that show? SEC Nation?
Yeah, in the morning on Saturday, on a heartbeat. Question. I would be really surprised if Urban didn't offer him a special position on the staff.
Tim, I don't see
not as a coach, ambassador. What a great ambassador he'd be for that program. They could be around. I think it'd be awesome.
I think it would have to. You'd have to look at the definition of whatever his job description would be.
Yeah.
Because if Tim does make the roster, okay, he's only going to be a Jaguar for 17 weeks. When the season's over, you can go about and do your own thing. Plus, you can leave practice when practice is over during the season. Mm-hmm. You still can go out and do your charity work or whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
If you're a coach or an administrator, your hours are constricted to being a normal human being's life. You know what I'm saying?
What about Coach Spurrier's job?
Now, Coach Spurrier is you can't compare what Coach Spurrier and how he ran his organization compared to any other coach.
No. I mean now.
Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah.
His ambassador job? Yeah. Right. But I don't know how that would work with Tim. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't see Tim Tebow ever being a coach.
Maybe he may not be, and I wouldn't think he would. But still, I would say that they'd be foolish not to have some kind of relationship. By the way, do I look like Steve Spurrier?
You don't.
I don't.
Maybe a little bit.
But because there's some people who get me confused, just like they get other people confused. I heard that story you told me last night. You got to tell it again. We got a picture someplace of Jeffrey Meldon with Steve Spurrier. For the woman who thought Steve was Jeffrey, just check this out. Because this is what it looks like when you put them together. And the guys on the end are Alberta and Albert. Hopefully Evan's got that picture.
Is Evan putting the picture up?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah, I don't either. He says it's up right now. I can't see it.
I can't either.
I just have a couple of Facebooks here I need to read. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. Shad Khan gave his son $100 million for wrestling. He will dump plenty of cash into the NFL. Sandy says, good morning, Gainesville Gators. How about those Bolts last night? They shut out the Islanders 8-0, buddy. Did you get to watch it?
I saw it 6, so no, I didn't watch it. Shane, I didn't have time to do anything last night. But I mean, Tampa's on fire. The city of Tampa is absolutely on fire. My Rays took it on the shorts, went to Seattle and went 0 for 4 against the Mariners, who played their best baseball in years. But Tampa, the city of Tampa, the Buccaneers, that's a hot sports city right now.
No, it is. There's no question. If you got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Call the good folks at QC Kinetics. That's 352-400-4550. Speaking with Buddy Martin, a few more minutes with Buddy here on the Titan MR Hotline. Then we'll be joined by 24/7, Swamp 24/7, Blake Alderman talking Gator recruiting. Sandy wants to know, how did your scramble go yesterday? I played in the Bellevue football scramble to help support Coach Ackerman.
Saw that. Yeah, that's great.
We had a good time. I'm not a fan of scrambles, but I sucked it up for my 4.5 hours, buddy, and went and did it. So
you're a good man. You're a good man for doing that.
Cal is a tremendous golf course as well.
Yes, it is. Well, how did your team do?
I don't even know, buddy. I don't pay attention when I play in scrambles. Like I told you, I love the supporting charities or whatever it is, but I absolutely cannot stand playing in a scramble.
Yeah.
So I hit my ball. Don't worry about the score and all that stuff, because if I'm so competitive, I like to play my own golf ball. But anyway, it was fun. It was a good event.
I'm really happy for Coach Ackerman. I think
I'd done the silent auction. They had 3 helmets that they auctioned off. Not the silent; it was a live auction.
Yeah.
They had a Devontae Smith Alabama Heisman Trophy signed helmet, one by the HBC and one by Urban. Out of those 3, which one do you think went for the most, buddy?
HBC?
No.
Urban?
No.
Well, that only leaves one left.
The Devontae Smith's helmet went for more than Urban and HBC's helmet combined.
You're kidding me. Traitors.
Nope.
So you know what they are? Those are the Alabama interlopers that come in there, That's the problem.
They got a lot of Alabama folks in Ocala?
I don't know. Apparently got one. At least got a big checkbook, right?
Buddy, we got a Facebook Live question brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm part of the Florida Gators for you. Gene says, hey, buddy, the Rays are calling Wander up. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, this guy's amazing, apparently. The Rays are loaded, by the way, with talent. They brought up the pitcher. He's going to be a stud out of the bullpen. And Wander is the new phenom, a guy that I'm not familiar with, but I read up on him, and he is the real deal. He was at Durham. And my friend down there wrote about it, said, we've had top prospects before. Leroy Selman, Vinny Testaverde, Jameis Winston, Roman Hammerlick, Vinny LeCavier, so on and so forth. He said, this feels a little different because the anticipation has been building and building and building. And Franco has been on our radar since he was 2007. He never won free agent when he was signed for 3.85 as a 16-year-old, Shane. And he is apparently the real deal. I can't wait to see Wonder play. What a great name, by the way, just by itself. So,
I just looked. But you made me think the Rays were running away with the AL pennant.
No, wait. No,
they're not even in first place in the East.
Don't come with that stuff. That's like calling me in the middle of the U.S. Open and saying, well, so-and-so is doing it. Hey, I told you they had the best record in baseball, and they did. But they went to Seattle, and they lost 4. And you know how they lost them? Extra innings, grand slam. I mean, they fought to the end, but they did get their butts handed to them in Seattle. A team that really wasn't that good that came alive, their bats. So we'll see. But no, I mean, they're fun to watch, and you should be watching them, by the way.
I will once. So I guess the best team in baseball right now, is it the Giants?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I just know I'm going to watch them tonight.
They have the best record.
So
I'll start watching.
Red Sox.
I may start watching a little bit after the All-Star break, once the College World Series and all that good stuff. I want to give a shout out to there's several Gators out at the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
Track and field have made it. I don't believe my man. I don't know, not the swimmers are done. I'm talking about track and field now.
Yeah, no, I know both. I mean,
yeah, we got a bunch of track folks going too. I don't think Grant Holloway has run yet. I don't know when his event. If anyone's listening knows when he will run, I'd like to tune in for that. It's usually on so late I can't stay up and watch it.
Well, you struggle to stay up and do my show, let alone stay up. That's just women's softball. Then you stay up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Except you don't have anything to root for now.
Well, softball's all done with. Done with.
Say you don't have anything to root for now.
I'm very interested in the College World Series. I'm pulling for Vandy and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So hopefully they'll meet up to play for the national title. That's what
NC State's going to be hard to beat. I'm telling you.
Well, they're still on the same side as Vanderbilt. I think if anybody can beat them twice, it's Vanderbilt.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right, buddy, who you got on your show tonight? I know it's usually your double trouble thing, right?
Not double trouble, Shane. This double coverage.
Double coverage.
See, double trouble. That's
it
you.
Could be double trouble. Could be double coverage and double trouble.
It could be double trouble. You're right with these two. Now, I mean, you talk about that. I want to say it the right way because if you think they don't know football, tune in to find out. These two women talk some great football. They talk about the in-depth position. Cassidy Hill, of course, covers the Jaguars and writes for Gator Bait. And then Jackie Franchuli, who now lives in Virginia and worked in this market for a long time. They're very knowledgeable. They have a good perspective. I tell you sometimes women have better perspective than men. They just do. You know, and they're really good. They went tonight. And then we're going to have Laura Rutledge on later in the week. How about that?
All right.
All right. So, and
I don't know how she does her job. Jobs
is right.
Good gracious.
You know, she was an intern. She really couldn't even get an internship for some reason. When Brendan Martin found her when she was going to Florida as a freshman and started her on Gator Country TV, that's how she got her break. Really, she did. She'll tell you. That's where she was completely. I mean, Maddie, the girl who does it for us now, had more experience than she did. Laura was a superstar, and you could see it. And when she first started, we said, "Man, she's going to be a star on TV one day," but no one knew how big she would be. And look at her now. She hosts NFL Live, SEC show on SEC Nation. She is I hate to use the word darling. She's the darling of ESPN right now.
Yeah, I agree. If they were to lose her, boy, it's already a mess there. But let's talk about this day in sports. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp is now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and opportunity for growth. A $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Call them today. That's Comfort Temp at 352-376-2366. This day in sports in 2009 at the U.S. Open at Bethpage. You ever been to Bethpage State Park?
I was there for that event.
In 2009?
Yep.
Who won?
I know Mickelson didn't get it out of bounds in 18. So
correct. So I believe he's a Clemson Tiger, Lucas Glover.
Yeah, easily forgettable.
He wins his only major title, 2 strokes ahead of runner-up Ricky Barnes. Remember how all the hype about Ricky Barnes coming out of Arizona?
Little bit,
David Duval and Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, that was a great tournament. And I tell you, Bethpage Black is a very, very interesting golf course. And if you haven't seen it, it's a public course, And
I'm pretty sure. I think I've been corrected on this. I can't remember, but I think I'm correct. I feel like all the PGA, maybe it's the PGA, always has to be played at a public golf course. But I thought the U.S. Open did the same thing. Is that not true?
It's not true. No.
Okay.
I've been to many golf courses that were not public that the U.S. Open was played on.
Okay, so I think the PGA though. Maybe it's the PGA that all their events are a public.
Kiel was not
It's public. It's very public.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a few years since I played that. Forgotten, but when it was first built. Yeah, I don't know that. We'll have to look that up and find out. Well, I'll call my neighbor Louis Usas to find out. All right.
That's right. We got a couple of Facebook Lives here about baseball here, buddy, for you. Brought to you by Mellon Law. Jeff says Vandy faces Stanford, then would have to beat NC State twice. That is correct. John says, since Arkansas beat NC State 21-2 in the first game of the Super Regional, they've beaten Arkansas twice, Stanford, and Vanderbilt.
Wow.
That's a pretty good run right there.
It was a great run. That coach is doing a great. I didn't know his name.
I couldn't tell you his name. I didn't even know NC. I mean, I'm being joking here. I didn't even know they played baseball. I've never heard of NC State being good at
that's
anything.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm so shocked.
Been good at anything. The only thing they've done is Jim Valvano's when they beat the Phi Slamma Jamma. That's the only thing they've really ever done.
And I was there too for that one that night. Yeah, that was Sunday day. Actually, it was amazing. Yeah, Valvano ran around the court like a crazy person. Yeah, I mean the NC State. I didn't see that one coming. So. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm being cast as a baseball guy. I'm not really watching that much baseball, but I watched Ray's game, and I'm disappointed in what happened to the Gators. I know everybody is. I think they'll be back. We'll see. It's a crazy year. My gosh, we didn't even mention the NCAA's ruling. We didn't even mention what's going on with college sports and as you have forecast, it's the ruination of college football. You said. Basically, because you don't like the name, image, likeness thing. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand it, but as you pointed out last night, or some of my friends did last night, is this latest thing on the Supreme Court. This is just about the things for educational, continuing education, computers. You can get somebody a computer, you can bring it back for a postgraduate. Coaches can do that anyway to some of the GAs. So anyway, yeah, so I don't know, Shane. I've thought about it overnight, and I don't think the sky is falling. I just think it's a lot of unknowns. And you as a coach and your dad as a coach, whatever, coaches hate it when they can't control it. They like to be in control of everything. And there's suddenly nobody's controlling it, including the NCAA, who's been an abject failure at their job. But everything has changed so fast, we're all our heads are spinning. But I said and I wrote, I think this could be a good thing for Florida. Because they got a guy who's not afraid to go out there and take a chance. Look what he did to the transfer portal, Dan Mullen. He gets it, and I think he will find a way to get some kind of edge out of this thing for the Florida Gators, because that's who Dan Mullen is.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Whatever that vote was yesterday about
Supreme Court.
Yeah, all that stuff about
continuing education,
studying abroad, and all that stuff. Look, I'm not here to bash the academics or whatever, because athletes are fortunate to get their degree if they go through all their classes and all that stuff. But there ain't one kid being recruited right now that's thinking about, hey, if I go to this school with the new rules, I can go study overseas.
No, but they're thinking about name, image, and likeness.
They're thinking about how fast can I get on the field and play for 3 years and go to the national football.
That too, or making me some money.
Before I let you go, buddy, our good friend John Rieger here says on Facebook Live, any PGA Tour event, PGA, USGA, LPGA host club must have diversity amongst its members if it's a private club.
Yeah, we know that because we've had a couple up canceled. Because thank you, John. He's a good man. John does a lot of great things for golf and young golfers. And when your next guest is up, ask him about Shamar James, who's the big story. Nick Saban, linebacker, one of the top recruits in Alabama, now says he's going to Florida. So I want to know more about that. He's from Mobile. Just so you know this, Shane, little nugget for you. Cassie tweeted last night, Mobile has been really good to the Florida Gators. She named a couple of guys that from Mobile. Let me tell you who is from Mobile. Look this name up, and you as a Florida quarterback ought to know this name. Haywood Sullivan, the great player in 1951 or 2. Haywood Sullivan was supposed to be a member of the Dream backfield at Florida. He signed a baseball contract instead. He went to the Red Sox. Good decision. You know why? He not only started as a catcher, but he also became the general manager and a part owner of the Red Sox from Mobile, Alabama. So there's a little history for you on Mobile, Alabama. And Bubba McGowan. You ever heard of that name, Bubba McGowan?
I heard it, yeah.
Bubba McGowan was a coach at Florida. He and Haywood were from Mobile, and they drove down together from Mobile when they'd be recruited by Florida. So, yeah, Mobile's been a good city for the Gators. Haywood Sullivan really ought to be in some kind of Hall of Fame if he's not, because he was a fantastic, great arm, and he would have been a great NFL player, but he chose baseball.
All right, buddy. Good stuff as always. Have a good week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks very much.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. You can check Buddy out every Monday through Friday on Facebook Live about 9 p.m. Eastern on the Buddy Martin Show. Going to take our first time out, come back, talk Gator recruiting with Blake Alderman. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Silverback Concrete Company. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Le Macaron French Pastries, Kilwins, and coming summer of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Buddy Mark for joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. We're now going to go back to the Titan MR Hotline. We're going to be joined by Swamp 24/7 recruiting analyst Blake Alderman. Good morning, Blake. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. I know a lot of Gator fans were excited over this weekend. Two big commitments to Dan Mullen and his staff. What can you tell us about these players?
You know, fans on Swamp 24/7 have actually been, man, it's been tough. They've been waiting for commitment. So they were definitely happy as well to get two additions there. And they did. Following the official visit weekend, Florida landed a pair of commitments. Coming shortly after the visit, 4-star linebacker, a top 247 linebacker, and Shamar James out of Alabama. He's from the Mobile area, committed to Florida. It was a big addition because he was Florida's top linebacker target, or at least one of them, but he was probably the most coveted of all the guys for Christian Robinson. 6'3", 200 pounds. I've seen this guy play 7-on-7. And actually play wide receiver and burn guys deep. So this is a really athletic linebacker for Florida. I think he's a big addition. I think one of the biggest things that sold him on coming to Florida was not only his relationship with guys like Christian Robinson and a guy in the recruiting office and assistant director of player personnel and Chase Clark, but just the fact that Florida wanted him to be an every down linebacker, really wanted to capitalize off that athleticism that he brings. Florida's really liked those athletic linebackers. That's been what Christian Robinson and Todd Grantham have really recruited since they've been at Florida. And I think that's what you'll see more of this year now that those guys have been in the system. They've been developed. They've added some size. So I think that was a really big addition for Florida. Another guy, Chandler Smith. He's a 3-star wide receiver out of the Orlando area. He goes to Bishop Moore Catholic High School. 3-star guy on 24/7 Sports, but I really, really like this guy's game. 6'3", 180 pounds. Actually is one of the fastest guys in the country. I believe as far as track times and all those things go from this past season when he was a junior, he was the number 3 fastest guy in the 100-meter dash, and that's coming at a 10.28, which is blazing for a guy at his size. So Florida continues to add speed there. And at that kind of size, at 6'3", 180 pounds, usually when I say, oh man, he's a blazer, he's super fast, you kind of think slot guy, you think maybe a little bit shorter, 6 foot, maybe 5'11" or anything like that. So at 6'3", 180, a guy with that kind of speed, you can do a lot of things with him. One of the things that he said that on his official visit, that Florida really told him that they kind of compared his game to Trevon Grimes, who wasn't as fast as Chandler Smith. So that kind of size outside, being able to use that type of size in the ways they use Trevon Grimes, kind of trying to capitalize on his size in the red zone. But now you've got a guy that's just blazing fast too. So I really like both additions for Florida in that 2022 class they landed this past weekend.
We're speaking with Blake Alderman for 24/7 Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at Blake_Alderman. Got a Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law here. Joseph says, Florida 4-star wide receiver commit Isaiah Bond was on a visit to Alabama, was riding around with Nick Saban and his wife. Hopefully we don't lose him as Nick is now schmoozing him. Well, that's going to happen to all these guys, right?
Absolutely. I think in a year that you had where it was 14, 15-something months of dead period where guys are taking visits, Isaiah really was up front when he committed to Florida back in May, that he was going to take some visits still. I don't think anyone in the world wants a kid, that's committed to your school, or even if you're a coach or you're, a fan, I don't think anyone wants Alabama sniffing around one of your players. Alabama is just one of those programs that can really turn a recruitment on its head. And in all things considered, I talked to Isaiah yesterday coming out of those visits. He actually visited Miami earlier in the month of June. As far as, he visited Florida the first weekend of June as well. He said he's still committed to Florida, says he still feels really solid in that commitment. Really complimented that family type of feel, just Florida being the dream school, how they want to use him, how they've added all this kind of speed. And, originally Alabama was recruiting Isaiah at cornerback, is on the defensive side of the ball. And I think he wants to play wide receiver at the next level. Visiting Alabama this past weekend, Saban had talked to him, kind of doubled back on, you can play whatever you want. But I think whenever you do that, the damage is already done. I think a guy in his head is thinking, man, are they going to put me on defense? That's not really what I want to do. Alabama, I don't think Florida's completely out of the woods, because I still think that it's possible that he takes visits down the road. You never know. I can't sit here and tell you in June what's going to happen in the fall. Is he going to go back for a game? I can tell you right now that he's saying he's solid to Florida. I believe that he's saying that. The Florida coaching staff really prioritized him, wanted to use that speed, wanted him on wide receiver, really checked all the boxes there. And one of the things he said coming out of that official visit the weekend of June 4th to Florida was that official visit really confirmed his decision to commit to Florida. And he was still saying those things yesterday. So I think all things look good for Florida right there.
John's asked here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. Nick Evers' mom was hinting at someone else was about to commit. Any inside information on that?
I think Florida's in a really good spot for a guy like Terrence Gibbs. He's a 4-star running back out of the Orlando area. He's continued to say Florida leads. He's continued to say that he's going to make a late June decision, which that's where we're at now. We're approaching, late June now. So I feel good on that one. A guy saying Florida leads heading into that late decision, that's always a good sign there. So I would be pretty shocked if he ended up anywhere other than Florida. Florida also they hosted Gibbs this past weekend on an official visit as well. They also hosted Texas A&M transfer Elijah Blades. He's a familiar name for Florida fans because I think it was the 2017 or 2018 recruiting class that he was committed to Florida, eventually flipped to Nebraska and had to go the junior college route. But he was ended up at Texas A&M after going JUCO, was on an official visit this past weekend. The only visit that he has set up for now, I haven't heard of any other visits that he's got set up. So I think Florida's looking really good there. I think originally he would have probably ended up at Florida coming out of high school had he been able to make it in academically. Now that, it's kind of the stars are aligning and he's back at Florida for a visit this past weekend, doesn't have anything else. I think that it would be, I don't have a timeline on that one necessarily. I thought it would be over the weekend when he was on his official visit, but he's coming out of that one and he still hasn't made any type of announcement. But those two guys, I feel really great about Florida's chances on.
Blake, we got a long text here from Tommy. I'm going to paraphrase here on the Titan Tomorrow text line. He basically kind of wants you to describe your job. And do you text the athletes? Do you talk to coaches? Do you watch tape? Do you go to camps? Just kind of tell us what Blake Alderman, how you do your job for 24/7.
Well, last year during the dead period, when there was a dead period there and camps were shut down, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard to do my job. It's just you're there to watch kids play, you're there to talk to guys, you're there to get content. And, obviously I could be, I was able to call kids, and coaches, the coaching staff was able to do virtual visits. So there was news to be had, but it's just it was a different year. But yes, all the above were, the things you said that I do. I talk to a lot of contacts. whether they're, guys on the network that I work with that are tied in. I talk to people in Gainesville. I talk to a lot of people, in the program, around the program, and all those types of things. That's one of the biggest things in the job is just, you're about as good as your contacts are. I watch film. Admittedly, I'm not maybe as big as a film buff as the guy on the national ranking team for 24/7 Sports, but a lot of the guys that Florida offers, I look at their tape, I kind of get an idea because obviously fans want to know, can this guy play? What are his strengths? What are all those types of things? So I do watch a lot of film. I text a lot of guys, whether they're committed, their targets, talk to them on the phone just about visits and the big picture of their recruitment. I've covered some camps this year. Now that they've opened back up. So that's been good just because I felt like, before the first camp I went to, I think it was earlier in maybe March or April this year. I hadn't been to a camp just because they were shut down since March of 2020. So it was good to get out there and see some of these guys again. Because, just like coaches, you can get an idea about if a guy is a dude and he can play just by watching them. I like film. I think film is a good thing to watch on guys, but those are highlights. Those are your best plays. I like watching guys in person, getting my own look because, I want to see those plays. When you mess up, what do you, how do you bounce back? How do you read things? Where do you go from there? So I think there's so many intangibles that are different from watching film to seeing guys in person. So I really like camps. I go to 7-on-7 events, all the above. So it's been busy, in the month of June, just with all the official visits. Florida's having all these guys come in and out of campus. They've had camps, so it's been a busy month. So, of all those things you mentioned, it's pretty much all of the above.
Yeah. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. A few more minutes with Blake Alderman from 247 Sports. Blake, Buddy wanted me to ask you a question. There's a lot of hype, a lot of good news coming out of Gainesville right now on the recruiting trail. Why do you think that is? My personal opinion is the 4 or 5 stars now see an actual facility being built. They don't see pictures of what might happen 2 or 3 years down the road. They literally can see it being built. And I really think that's helping us. I could be wrong. Your thoughts?
I think that helps. I think that it does build excitement. I think that Florida is really pitching that to a lot of the guys. But I'll tell you what, I think the fact that I feel like Dan Mullen is a lot more involved with the recruiting. Not that he wasn't involved before, but I think that, you don't have him recruiting maybe, the top tier guys, those top tier 5-star, high 4-star, top 100 type, top 50 type of guys. You have him being more involved in a lot of other recruitment. So I think the fact that he's being more involved, I think kids are pretty smitten by the fact that they're talking to, the head coach of the University of Florida. So I think that's a big deal. I think adding some newer, recruiter type of assistants. Now you got Tim Brewster, who's known for being a big recruiter. I know he was here last year, but, just the fact of not having face-to-face contact, I think that he's a guy that thrives more in that. I think Wesley McGriff is a big-time recruiter himself. He's been in the game a long time. He has a lot of experience to sell. I think Jules Montanar, Florida's new cornerbacks coach, he's a young guy. He's really hungry. He's going to get after on the trail. And that's to go with guys, like David Turner, Christian Robinson. Those are guys that have always been big-time recruiters for Florida. So I think you're just seeing more of those guys that are being more active in recruiting. Billy Gonzalez has some guys that have been drafted, high, first round, second round type of guys. Had a deeper draft class back in the 2020 draft. Florida's having the success of just the season they had last year on offense. So I think a lot of those things are really building a lot of excitement on top of having the facilities. But I'll tell you what, the one thing that a lot of these recruits have really complimented about just taking the official visits to Florida is how much the players were involved with them, how much they were recruiting them. And I'm talking about players in the roster. Guys like Jason Marshall, Jervon Dexter, Mohamed Diabate, all those guys that are hosting these guys, Lorenzo Lingard. There are so many guys that are hosting these players. And they really do a good job of making those guys feel like home, showing that, family type of environment that Dan Mullen has made in Florida. And I think that really just is contagious to a lot of guys. And just that's one thing that, talking to these guys coming out of their visits, that's one of the things they really have just enjoyed was just the fact of the camaraderie with all those players that are there. And I think that's really contagious. And I think that's something that players really like because, at the end of the day, there are a lot of factors of why you would want to go to a school, development, academics, whatever you want to be. But I think a place that feels like home is always one of those factors. And I think that just that relationship these guys build with players. Players are way more active on social media recruiting guys. You've got a guy like Nick Evers, who's Florida's quarterback commit, who is really, very vocal about recruiting guys. I mean, shoot, I saw Nick Evers' mom on Twitter recruiting guys. So I just think that type of vocalness, I think it's really making a lot of guys excited about Florida. And now you're seeing, guys like Shamar James. He's a guy that's a big-time guy himself. He's now committed, and he's going to be pretty vocal about recruiting guys too. So I think that alone, it's great when coaches are recruiting players, but players want to play with good players, So I think that that's one thing that's really making it good for Florida right now, and I think that's where you're seeing that excitement and that buzz pick up.
Yeah, last thing for you here, Blake. John wants to know, Gentry Williams is being crystal balled towards Southern Cal. Where do we stand with him?
I think he had a really good visit. I think that he would prefer to play defensive back, whereas Florida was the one school that's been recruiting him at wide receiver. That's another guy that when he took his official visit, that Dan Mullen told him that, hey, man, I'm not always right. If you were to come here and, wide receiver wasn't really in the book for you and, you could make a quicker impact at defensive back, I'm not against that. We're recruiting you as an athlete. But I think that just that visit, he took an official visit this past weekend. I always thought Oklahoma would be tough to beat for him. But now he took that official visit to USC this past weekend. It seems like they have really kind of taken that pole position. I think just the fact of living in LA out there in California, USC is having a lot of success of just being in a, kind of a town of the stars or a city of the stars and really pushing that name, image, and likeness. And I think that's something that's really registering with him. So, I think that he's not a guy that's going to be on fire to make a direct decision maybe right now. He should be at LSU this weekend for an official visit. It's possible that he makes a decision sometime before the summer. But, right now it's looking like USC has the edge right now coming out of that official visit he just took.
Would Blake let everybody know how they can...
Florida's probably top three, though, just to answer your question. I think it's probably USC, Oklahoma, and Florida being the schools that are most involved with him.
Good stuff. Good stuff as always, my man. Hey, let everybody know how they can check out all your good stuff.
Yeah, Swamp 24/7. That's the Florida 24/7 sports website. That's where a lot of my content is. That's where I, pretty much slave away with just all the, the grind that's been of June. My Twitter handle is at Blake_Alderman. That's where I put a lot of my content out there. So that's usually where you can find me. I don't do very much. I'm not a very exciting person, so I'm usually on one of those two places.
Good stuff as always, buddy. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon, my man.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me on.
Yep, that's Blake Alderman. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. I'm going to take our final time out of the program, come back, wrap up this Tuesday edition.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Carter Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but we still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking for member FDIC. I want to thank Buddy Martin for joining us and also Blake Alderman for 24/7 Sports, talking a little Gator recruiting. Seems like they're doing very well, and hopefully that will continue. Make sure you follow us and like us on all the different digital platforms out there. And today's show is a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe out there, folks. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. See you then.
trying to get the fans fired up. 2nd down and 10. Matthews rolling to his right, in trouble, can't find anyone. Now he throws it for Harrison Houston, who makes the catch. He's in the open field. Harrison to the 20. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Gators!